So the other thing that you will obviously start off the right, you'll start off the game playing in a fighter, and this fighter is the Wraith. It's pretty low on firepower, it's pretty low on armor, pretty low on shields, but it is very speedy. Its weapon systems are Gatling guns, head track missiles, and ECM countermeasures. I will go into that in just a moment. I do have decals for my fighter, because I think it looks really cool. I do have a custom interior. I use is this one, and I've got a custom skin, which is this one here, like wings, like cool. I quite like it anyway. So the weapon systems on here are Gatling guns. Now, Gatling guns, I've often confused in calling them autocannons in the past. They fire much like what I'd expect autocannons to fire like. You get a very, very fast fire rate with these. So even though it doesn't have a huge amount of firepower, the sheer rate of fire on this ship is deadly. If you align yourself well with your target, you can typically kill them very, very easily. You can... So if... I will go into it later on in the stream, but if you can align yourself pretty well to mirror the same direction as your target, you can normally come up behind your target and kill them within a few seconds. On a normal fight, you can kill them before the overheat kicks in and the guns start slowing down. On the heavies, against heavies, you can kill in the Wraith as well. Heavies take a little bit more damage to kill them. If you again can come up right behind them, and you basically can keep them where they should be, right in front of you, and keep firing, the cooldown, the overheat will kick in, but there's kind of two stages with the overheats on the Gatling guns. They slow down first of all, and then they'll kind of slow down a second level afterwards. So by the time the first step of the cooldown kicks in, the heavy will normally be taking heavy damage, and you can normally finish them off before your second overheat kicks in. If they do nudge out of the way, I do recommend that you stop firing, because you will just allow your guns to recover for that brief moment. You might get the higher fire rate, or you at least stop your guns from going into that really slow fire rate. It has head track missiles, which is the basic missiles that you get, or that you would have seen in the single player when you were loading up the game. It is simply, you look in a direction, any direction, you use that left trigger control, you look at that target, you'll see the missiles load up. So you'll see it again once I actually play the ship in space. It is a series of dots around like a U-shape. When a dot has entered the U-shape, it is a missile essentially loaded into the tube. So if you fire all your missiles at one target and then you try and relock again, you will see the target will be locked, but then it will very slowly reload and launch. It will put missiles into the tube very slowly. So it's typically good to fire off your set of missiles, engage with your guns if you can, give it a few seconds, and then re-engage with those missiles. They aren't the super best tracking missiles in the world. You do have to use them a little bit strategically. They have a limited degree of turn, so if you're being tracked or missiles are being fired at you, if you duck and dive in and out of environment, you will find that the missiles, chances are, will collide with the environment. Equally so, if you're going at speed and you're banking, it's not uncommon to see missiles that can't bank with you, and they will overshoot you and they will explode. ECM countermeasures. So unlike the Spectre that we saw before, it doesn't have an EMP essentially. It has ECM. Now the ECM will do kind of half of the job that the EMS system does. Now the ECM countermeasures will, if you have missiles coming after you, so you get two sets of warnings. You have someone who's locking you, and then you have someone who has launched missiles, and the missiles are tracking you. So you'll see it again when you're playing. If I get an opportunity, I will point them out. So when you're being locked, you will get a tone warning. You will also see the outline of a missile. You won't see a like solid missile shape. That is to say that someone has locked you. Not that they have fired missiles at you, but they have locked you, and the amount of missiles that are locked against you. Now, it's useful to hold your ECM till they have fired the missiles. The problem is, if someone locks you and you fire your ECM before they have launched those missiles, your ECM will then run out and they will launch the missiles and they may all hit you. So your ECM was completely wasted, and they have just gained the advantage because they've been able to hold back their firing of their missiles. You've wasted your ECM. They will see you fire your ECM off if they are chasing you. When you've got ECM on a fighter, if you're following them and you see them fire it, you essentially see like a series of light blue dots kind of appear around the ship, firing off in all directions. That is the ECM firing off. If you fire those missiles at the target once the ECM is finished, then chances are your missiles cannot be avoided by ECM. They will have to use the environment or their speed to dodge them. The other thing is, when the missiles are coming towards you, you will see a 3-digit number. That is literally how many, I don't think it's feet or like an actual arbitrary distance, but more how many seconds away they are. So if you do boost away while the missiles are tracking you, you do see that number go up. So I believe you can like outrange missiles, or you can kind of, if you get a significant distance between the missiles and yourself, you can kind of alter their trajectory to the extent that they will crash into the environment instead.